UFC 314 is live this Sunday, the 13th of April, 4 a.m. South African time. It is Alexander Volkanovski taking on Diego Lopes. This is the Fighting with Friends Parlay Picks episode, and we are doing that right now in Fighting with Friends. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, Brother Gaia, back again with another Parlay Pick episode, as well as some MMA or UFC news, I should say. But I'll do that a bit later in the episode. With me today to break down some Parlay Picks is the one and only Brother Jetson. How's it going, broski?
Brazil, I'm right here.
It's good to have you back, bro. We missed you on the
Thanks,
preview
bro.
yesterday.
Thank you. Yeah, no,
Um,
sorry, bro. I didn't know it was happening. Phone was on
nah, nah,
silent.
it's all good. It's all good. We every year it's a blessing to have you here. I think all the viewers are always amped to have you on the episode. And I also
Oh,
love to hear
thanks,
your
guys.
thoughts on these fights. And yeah, so what we'll do today, normally, if the viewers know, what we normally do is we do a UFC news segment first in the beginning of the episode, and then we kind of cover the latest news for the week, and then we jump into the parlay picks for the upcoming fight card on the weekend. But today we're gonna do it a little bit differently because we are limited with the time that we have you on the episode today, Jedi. So we're gonna start it off straight with the parlay picks, and then I'll jump into the news a bit later in the episode. So without further ado, Jedi, we're gonna go to you first with your first parlay pick for this fight card. I'm gonna quickly just bring up the other website that we use for our sporting bets. It is called Sporting Bets. So yeah, Jedi, we obviously didn't have it yesterday. So can you grace us with the privilege of giving us your thoughts on how these fights are playing out, and as well as your picks? Let's start with your first
Mm.
one. I'll bring it up on screen here. Okay, so Jed's parlay picks, as you can see, his first bet is he's got Jean Silva, Patricio Pitbull, and Diego Lopes with a stake of 100 Rand and a payout of $780. Jedi, can you tell us why you're going with these three picks in particular? And also give us a little bit of detail as to how you think the fight's going to play out.
Yeah, so this is my first pick on the main card. When I just like browsed over it,
Yeah.
I just looked at what kind of excited me on the
Mm,
card. I think the main card is a banger from start to finish, but these were the three fights that stood out. If I were going to put money on it, I'd be like, this is the ones to go with.
mm,
Obviously, I can see Bryce Mitchell is probably priced the best on the card
mm, mhm.
amongst everybody, and I always used to ride with Bryce. I love Bryce fighting. He's a fun guy. He's like a just
Yeah.
balls to the wall, get stuck in, high energy, high pace, which is fun. And he's fighting this Jean Silva from the Fighter Nerds, who's just been on a tear lately, basically starting Oaks. Very
Yeah.
exciting.
True.
What's mad about it is he's a jiu-jitsu guy who's knocking people out, and that's kind of what we see a lot from these dudes.
Mhm,
And I just think that Bryce's style is gonna walk into something that's gonna put him away.
mhm.
So I think Jean Silva was like a second round TKO, maybe even first round knockout. That's how I see it fight going. Unfortunately, the second fight I looked at was the Patricio Pitbull and Yair Rodriguez, who I like both guys. I like
Mhm,
Rodriguez
mhm.
for a long time. Pitbull coming from the Bellator, he was the champion there, who's now signed over.
Yeah.
Which is this his debut? Is this his debut
Yes.
fight? So this
Yes.
is his debut in the UFC. What? So I was a little apprehensive because I haven't
Mm,
seen him against any UFC caliber dudes. It would be nice to see him against someone lower
mm.
in the top 10 before he fights Rodriguez. But I kind
Yes.
of see the fight going similar to when Rodriguez fought Frankie Edgar. Um,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? I think he's going to
Yes.
be on the
Yes.
back foot a lot. I think Patricio's
Yo.
not going to allow him to push forward and throw all the flashy stuff. He's going to obviously try and close down his kicks and force him to strike with him.
Mm,
And then eventually take him down and kind of control him. So I can see Patricio keeping him in the guard and just
mm.
being heavy on top. And I've seen him do that to quite a few other dudes in the Bellator.
Yes.
Um, so I think that's kind of how the fight's gonna go. I see Patricio grinding out a 3 round victory. You know what I mean? Just
I
unanimous
agree.
decision, blanket him, staying in the guard and beating him up. That's how I see the fight
Mm.
going. Um, and then the main fight is, bro, I like Lopez. I'm a big fan of Lopez. I've watched almost all of his fights. I think that he's growing a bit fast. You know what I mean? Like, I
Mm.
would want him to kind of take another tune-up fight or so before he fights for the title. But on the other hand, it's kind of risky because if you lose that fight, you lose it. It's not like boxing where you can fight like 20 tune-up fights before you fight the
Yeah,
title.
yeah. Not the
You-
same, yeah.
it's more like how fast you can get your title shot, and then take it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
He's up there. He beat what's that other Mexican dude?
Ryan
Um,
Ortega.
he beat Ortega, who I thought was kind of flat in that fight. I expected
He
Ortega to
was,
be
yeah.
faster and like controlling it more, but that kind of didn't happen. Um, so it was like a like for like. It's like out with the old and in with the new for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and then for Volkanovski, it's like nothing surprising. I don't like. There's no style. Volkanovski is surprised that I think he's fought every kind of style there is, kind of guy.
Yeah.
Um, so I think the favor, the odds is in Volkanovski's corner to win this fight because he's
Uh,
been there and done it with everything.
yeah.
I mean, he's on a losing streak, so he obviously wants to get this back so that he can be like, hey, I need to fight Ilya Taporia again. This is
Mm.
basically what's happening. Whoever wins this fight gets to fight for the title. I
This is a
think that,
title. This is a title
oh,
shot. They're fighting for
yeah,
the
yeah.
title.
But I mean, okay. But I mean, they still have to fight Ilya. You know what I mean? It's not legit unless you fight that dude. But obviously, he's now gone away.
He's gone,
Uh,
yeah.
but it is what it is. So I think that for both guys, it's an opportunity to be the king of the division and kind of take that in their stride.
Mm,
I,
mm,
I think Lopez really has to step out of his comfort zone and into the firefight to
mm.
take control here.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm not quite sure, but I have to go with Brazil because I'm a Brazilian guy.
Oh, myself. I mean, look, it's a big deal. It's a big fight for Diego
Yeah.
Lopez. Old. You want to say that he's a bit fast tracked to this title shot because the guy who beat him, the only guy to beat Diego Lopez in the UFC is Mavzar Evloev, and he's undefeated. So there was a lot of
Mm,
argument that he should actually have gotten this fight over Diego Lopez for the
That's what
title
I've
shot.
been saying, bro, for a long time. But obviously,
And
no one wants to see him blanket somebody till he wins, which he
yeah,
does every fight.
which he does every
Yeah,
fight.
and bro, he's undefeated. Yeah, it's a boring style, very boring style. Um, but
But
very
it works.
effective, bro. He's
It
the
works.
decision king, bro. That guy decision
Yeah, it
anyone.
works, bro. It works. I mean, back in the day, people
Yeah.
used to almost praise Dominic Cruz for taking people to decision because he would just masterclass everybody.
Mm.
Don't be so you can't move the goalpost for Mavzar just because maybe he's not American, for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
His style,
exactly.
he's boring, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's beating everybody. You
but he
got to do
beats
something about it.
everyone.
And he
I
beat
always
Diego
bet on that
Lopez.
guy. I
Yeah,
always
you
bet
have
on that
to.
guy, bro. He beats everybody.
Yeah, I completely agree, dude. So yeah, I think Diego Lopez in this fight is gonna have to obviously make it hella aggressive, do what Ilya did, and make fight the fight very aggressive from that first
Yeah,
round,
he has
second round.
to.
Because if he doesn't do that, you can expect Volkanovski to take control round three onwards. You can expect him to start picking up that pace
Mm,
and do what champions do.
mm,
So it's a very exciting fight.
exactly.
Okay, Jedi, you've got
Exactly.
some you've got some different names on your second bet here. Let me just bring it up on screen because that's it's different to the general main card, right? So can you just give us some explanation on your second bet? I'm bringing it up on screen right now. Talk us through that second bet slip. Why you're going with some of the names that are on the sorry, not this one. That's your first one. Some of the names that are on the prelims. Talk us through it.
So I think the card is a banger right through. Even the
Yeah.
prelim fights, there's lots of good fights here. Lots of kind of the odds are a bit of a miss for me. You know what I mean?
Tell us
Odds are a
why.
bit weird. Like for um, Jan Jaroba has never fought for a title, yet
No.
she's the favorite here.
Mm.
That's like a very weird one. And Rodriguez is very tough, durable as fuck, like loves
Yeah.
to fight.
Strong.
Um, but I think she's what like Jan was just in the top five and fought for about 2 fights ago.
She's ranked
Was
number one
very
now.
exactly. Bro. Ooh.
Yan Chanan.
So that's what I'm saying. I Jan Janan 2.25 underdog.
Shocking, bro. It's
Thanks
shocking.
UFC. I'm gonna take that. But just like the other day, we saw Henry Cejudo was
Yes,
like a 3-1 underdog. I think we saw
he
Gilbert
was.
Burns was also like a 3-1 underdog and lost. So yeah, I just think Jan is priced too well for me not to take all of these dudes. Jan, Danny Gay, and Diego Dominic Reyes. I think they're all
Mm.
priced very well in a fight
Yeah.
that they can for sure win.
So how do you see it playing out? But this one in particular, the Yan Chanan
I
and
think Yan
Takara.
Jinan puts her into a trap. I think she sets her up into a nasty overhead fucking right, bro. She's gonna
Ah,
walk into yeah. I just think she's gonna get trapped. Jan's gonna be going back, just like she did against what's that chicky,
and she fought last.
Andrade.
She fought
I,
Tabitha
no, but
Ricci
I
last.
think
Yeah.
Jerobe's style is the same like Andrade's style. You know what I mean? And I
Mm,
think she's gonna basically try and close the distance on her, try and force her into working hard and using the
mm,
muscles because Yan is a big chickie and she does kind of get tired in later rounds. But I don't
mm.
think it's gonna go that far. I think she's gonna get the nasty brutally TKO
Oh,
deal. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a finish, like
so you
first
think the
round,
fight's
second
not
round
gonna
finish.
go? The fight's not going to the distance.
No, no ways, no ways.
Oh,
I think this is
shocking.
over. I think this is over quick sticks, bro.
Let's just see there. How will the fight finish? So going to the distance is 1.60. So they're expecting us to actually see the fight go to the distance. You think it's going to end
Yeah,
in either a knockout or submission? No, a knockout. You said
I
it's
think it's a
5.5.
knockout. Yeah,
Oh,
knockout, bro. I
the
think
odds
it's
look
a
good.
knockout. Yeah, I think
Uh,
it's a knockout. Yeah,
I wish I can
Anjanan.
agree. I wish I can agree with Jedi, but I think Kakara is going to go in there and put Yanchan in the rear naked choke, possibly an armbar.
Okay,
But
we'll
let's see,
see. We'll
let's
see.
see, let's see. I
We'll
mean,
see.
Yan Chanan is quite big for the strawweight division. She's
That's
tall.
what I'm
She's
saying, bro.
tall.
This and that's what I'm saying. I feel like Janjaroba is chinny, man. She gets tagged a lot. Of all the fights that
She
I've
does
watched
get
to fight,
tagged.
she gets tagged a lot. And if she's open to getting tagged by Janjanan, bruh, you're gonna go down. You're gonna go
Yeah,
down.
I do think that Shanan's the better striker by miles. Like she's light
Mm.
years ahead of Jandaroba in terms of the striking department. Exciting matchup, but should have been high up on the card. But anyway, we keep it moving, Jeddah. So let's talk us through that Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. I think Sean Woodson is getting a big fight
Yeah,
here for him. It's a big fight for him.
yeah, I think it's a very big step up for Hudson. He's a very fun young guy,
Yeah, yeah,
big,
yeah.
strong, fast. But I think he's coming up against it's like one of that fights where they're taking a new guy against a tested, experienced fighter. And for me,
Yeah.
most times the experienced guy comes out. Like I've seen Dan the Hangman do it against a lot of dudes. I've seen
Yeah,
Kimberly
that's true.
do it against a lot of dudes. I've seen it happen time and time again. And I just think that again, this is one of the fights where I feel he's fighting. It's a new guy coming up against a dude that's just like
Mm.
no, he's not gonna allow Woodson to prance around him and take him down and do whatever he does. I think Dan Ige is gonna show him why he's the more experienced guy, yeah, and there's levels to this.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Sean Woodson, he's Sean Woodson, right? Sean Woodson has only
Mm,
got one loss in the UFC since he's been in the UFC.
mm.
And he's racked up basically one loss, one draw, and just a bunch of wins after that. And he's got, I think, a total of 10 fights in the UFC so far. So that's
Yeah.
eight wins, right? And he's 6'2" in the featherweight division. That's taller than Max Holloway. Max was considered to be the tallest featherweight for a long
Mm,
time,
mm, mm,
right? And Woodson is a
mm.
very good striker. I do think I agree with you that I think Dan Ige is going to
I
pressure
think
him to the point.
Dan's not gonna allow him to do
That's not going to
anything
let
there,
him
bro. I
dance.
promise
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do think that on the card, that is an underdog to go on. And
It's
obviously, there's
yeah.
always
It's
gambles
like
on
it's
some
one of the
people.
bro. Who was it? The other fight also was Rob Font and somebody.
Oh, that
It was also
Matsumoto
like
lady, Jean
yeah. It was like
Matsumoto.
fuck, bro. Like this is gonna be a tough fight for Font. But you could see he's like, bro, I'm not gonna allow this dude to fucking come here and
That
do
was a
what he
good
wants
fight.
to do. You know what I mean? So the same,
Yeah,
I feel the same thing. I think Dan Ige and Dominic Reyes. Not that
I was about to go
Krylov
to it
is a is a is a new name. He's been around for a very long time.
for a
Good
long time.
kickboxer.
Yeah,
Yeah, very good kickboxer. Exciting fighter. Very dynamic with his strikes and whatever. He's very clever.
clever.
Um, very clever. Yeah, this dude is top
You know
top
what, Jedi?
fighter.
I
I
know.
think this guy's got a future in the UFC if he's manages to stay injury free. This dude
Yeah,
can go the distance. He's very good.
yeah.
But I think Dominic Reyes still got a lot to prove in this division because this division is quite open. It's not like
At the moment,
there's
yes.
one guy that's like I mean, besides Powhatan, that was freaking Oaks out and whatever, but it's so open and the room for error is not big. You know what I mean? I feel like any of these dudes can finish the other one
Beat anyone.
very
Yeah,
easily. Yeah. And
I
Dominic
agree.
Reyes, and in terms of athlete, in terms of being an athlete versus um, this
Sorry.
Nicola,
Kill off.
yeah, I've seen him in the beginning struggle against guys who mix it up and take him down, and like it's just unpredictable kind of stuff.
Who
And I feel
struggles?
like Nicola, I've seen him
Okay.
struggle against dudes like that. Like who was it? Uh, fuck, what's that balded other dude's name
Hmm?
now? Just go to
Oh, you sport.
rankings.
Go, go,
Or
go.
just go to him. I'll tell you exactly who it was. Who's got similar
Okay.
style to Dominic Reyes. So yeah, I just think Dominic Reyes, in terms of being if I look at the two guys, who's the better athlete and who's down to fight and who's gonna make it very ugly and over 3 rounds, I feel like
Okay, and
Dominic
Uzumia. That's the guy.
Ozemir is it. Ozemir was the guy. Ozemir. Yeah. Ozdemir
Yo,
was the guy that made it very shit for him. And then also Craig was like a very like Craig's not a good striker, and Craig managed to control him in that fight. Even
mm,
Glover beat him. You know what I mean? So I feel like
mm.
um, he's fighting again a guy that's very experienced, fought everyone in the division. He's just I
With everybody.
feel a better rounded fighter than what Nicola is at this present time. You know what I mean? And
Whoa, really?
I just feel like Dominic is gonna go in there and also try and prove to the people that he's still relevant. Um, so yeah, I'm going with Dominic
Yeah,
here. I
yeah, yeah,
think
yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
priced too good.
yeah.
He's priced too good for this one. It's gonna be a
Oh,
decision. He's gonna decision him like probably very
oh,
even first round. Probably take him down in the second, take him down in the third.
I don't know, eh? I actually beg to differ there. I think Nikita Krylov is gonna actually outdog him. He actually might be the
Mm.
one that take Reyes down and make Reyes crick.
Yeah,
Honest
that
with you,
would
I
be
mean, Nikita.
crazy.
I've seen Nikita fight the who's who. I'm talking about Jedi when you and I
Mm.
were watching UFC
Yeah, he's bro. He's very good.
2010, 2012,
He's very
2013
good.
days. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? Why is he so? And I thought nah, that he's way past his best. The dude's only 33 years old. I thought he's
Yeah.
been fighting. I thought he's been, he's way over past his age. He's actually younger than Dominic
Mm.
Reyes, and it shows he's fought against pretty much all the champions of the light heavyweight division, other than John Jones. So he's been
Mm.
in there with the top dogs for a while. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very tricky one. But I can understand why they made Reyes the underdog. It might be a good pick. But let's see
Yeah,
how it
yeah, no,
plays out.
I can understand why the Midray is also the underdog. He's kind of like it's always out with the old in with the new kind of thing, and
Hmm.
yeah, we'll see what happens on the
We'll see what
day.
happens. Yeah.
We'll see what happens on the day. I think there's going to be a
Oh,
lot of upsets here.
yo, yo. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Jedi. Let's before we send you off, let's just go through your final bet slip because you put down 3 bets this week, all at 100 rand.
Yeah.
And once again, can you talk us through this third bet slip, please?
Okay, so I spoke about Jean Silva and the reasons
Mm,
why, and I
mm,
spoke about Dominic Lopez and the reasons why,
mm.
and then obviously the most exciting fight that everybody is probably going to tune in to watch is the Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett fight. It's like the celebrity fight, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
one of those fights where people want to tune in because they just want to watch the fight. They don't care if Paddy wins, loses, or draws. They just want to. Some people want to see him win. Some people want to see him get fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be one of that exciting fights. And for the first time, I feel like the UFC is actually giving him a fight where he's worried about his opponent, where he's like feeling, okay, this guy can actually beat me. I feel like this is the like Bobby Green. Bobby's a name, but I'm not a Bobby Green fan. I never thought Bobby
Never
Bobby
rated him.
could have had it, could have get it done here, but this is like the first proper champion caliber, top
Yes.
5 dude that
Yes.
he's actually gonna fight now. A dude that's relevant, a dude that's hungry, that's been on the sidelines for too long because of other circus that was going on, and he actually deserves to fight more. And yeah, it's nice to give him a Paddy Pimblett fight because it's a big
Yes.
paycheck and whatever. He's probably not key. He probably wasn't keen on fighting because Paddy's much lower than him and he wants to fight for the titles. You know what I mean? But I think Chandler's also like, nah, I want to get paid and this is an easy payday for me.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think Brazilian Michael Chandler is going to probably win by decision. It's gonna
What?
just be a beatdown of beating the snot nosed kid. That's how I see it. I feel like Chandler doesn't want to finish him. I think Chandler is gonna just wants to beat on him for the entire fight. I think that's what it's gonna be like.
Wow.
So yeah, you know, take him down and just controlling him, Khabib kind of style fight. Yeah.
I mean, I can see it. I do think that in MMA, the MMA grappling, I do think that Paddy Pimblett is slightly more creative. He's got jiu-jitsu. He can submit. Michael Chandler is more known for his American division, all-American kind of wrestling. You know, that hold you down, slam you, pick you up, slam you again, suplex belly to belly. He doesn't really hunt for submissions. He just wants to take you down.
That's why he's gonna beat him up, bro. He's just gonna pound on him the whole time,
You must just
control
be
him and
careful.
pound on him.
You mustn't leave his arm out there because Paddy the Baddy can submit you. He's got that within him. He's in his locker. He can put you in a choke. So I just think that Michael Chandler must be wary with that. But okay, Jedi, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Before we go, before you go, I'm just going to bring up my 2 bet slips for this week. Just quickly zoom out there. And I'm going to keep it very simple. Like I said, I want to make up. Eddie's got the numbers for us at the moment. I don't have it with me. But I do want to get back into the green zone. I've now, last 2 weeks, I've been successful on my bet slip. So let's just bring up my first one. It's a money line bet slip, nice and simple. We've got Alexander Volkanovski to win. I'll tell you how he wins a bit later. Michael Chandler to win, Yair Rodriguez to win, and Jean Silva to win. With a stake of $50 and the payout that is 450 rand. I do think that Volkanovski is he's going to win the fight on decision. I think he's going to survive the tornado that he's going to get in that first 2 rounds. If he just keeps his guard up and not get sucked into a first fight too aggressively, I think he survives. And he starts putting on the pace on Diego Lopes, round 3, round 4, round 5, and then winning the fight 3 rounds to 2. And then Michael Chandler, I think he's going to starch Paddy the Pimblett, Paddy the Baddy, excuse me. Maybe first round, second round knockout. I can see that happening. If he doesn't do that, I think he loses the fight. To be honest with you, I think if Michael Chandler doesn't get that finish in the first 2 rounds, I think he loses. Because he's probably just going to get gassed out and we're going to see Paddy the Baddy just keep kicking him into oblivion. And then Yair Rodriguez taking on Patricio Pitbull. Yair Rodriguez, I went with Yair Rodriguez because I think that if he stays away from the takedowns and stays away from fighting off the back foot, if you see the way Yair Rodriguez fought against Josh Emmett, that Yair Rodriguez can beat anybody. And I think if he comes in with that,
now you see, this is the thing. What I was just thinking now earlier also is that what made Edgar also so successful in that fight is that he can shoot.
he can take you down.
I don't think Patricio shoots on a takedown from outside. Like, you know, if they're not against the fence, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it.
Yeah.
He's not going to try and take it. Like same with Emmett. Emmett's not going to shoot from in the middle of the ring.
No.
Where Edgar was able to get under him and take him down from anywhere they were. Anywhere they were. Yeah.
But that was Edgar, and that was Edgar in his prime at that time also, man. I don't know if there's anyone like Frankie Edgar right now in the featherweight division. They don't have that blueprint at the moment.
There isn't. There's not that, bro.
Yeah, they don't have that blueprint anymore. So I do think that, and what Rodriguez did really well. Look at that. That Frankie Edgar fight was uncomfortable to watch because Edgar was, oh, he was putting on a clinic in that fight and he busted up Rodriguez's face pretty badly. But I don't see anyone else doing that to Rodriguez in the division other than maybe Volkanovski. You know,
Volkanovski, yeah, bro.
Volkanovski can definitely do that to him. But I don't know if maybe if Loiv can do it as well. But I don't think Patricio is going to do it. Plus, Patricio Pitbull is going to obviously show up
Yeah,
and this is his debut, so he's obviously going to put on a statement. Plus, he wants to be
yeah,
fast track
exactly,
the same way they did for Chandler, like give him the top five.
exactly.
But this is his first top five opponent, so he's going to want to go in there and put in a statement kind of win.
And be
But
like,
he must,
yeah, I'm a champion guy.
you know what I mean? I knocked this dude out kind of thing, but he has to be careful because I do think Rodriguez can put him away. That's why I'm going with Rodriguez. I do think that he also wants to prove a point that he's still top contender in the
Mm,
featherweight division.
mm.
And then Jean Silva, bro. Like, let's be honest about it. If Bryce Mitchell doesn't take him down, he's losing the fight. Bryce Mitchell doesn't take Silva down early, Silva's gonna knock him out, bro. So they're gonna have to
Yeah,
do it.
but
Gonna have to
it's
make
gonna
it
be
an
a
ugly
first
fight.
round KO.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think Silva is actually a very safe bet to make in that fight. But he's Bryce
Yeah, I
Mitchell.
think he's the most favorite on the main card. He's the biggest favorite. Like he's the worst guy to
Really?
bet on. Yeah,
Oh, he is, yeah. He is, I see now. Yo,
like 'cause
heavy.
they expect him to win the best out of everyone on the
So
squad.
everybody, yeah. And I can
Yeah.
see it. I can clearly see it because of the stylistic matchups. And then my,
Mm.
my second bet slip before you go, Jedi, is a bit of a parlay pick, some funny stuff to go on here, but I'm only going with two fights. Alexander Volkanovski to win by decision. Like I said, I think he wins the fight over the course of the 5 rounds. I don't see him knocking out Diego Lopes or even submitting him. So,
What's it?
so excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
No, all good. Okay, you sorted. Yeah, so I just think that Volkanovski is going to win over the 5 rounds. I just don't see anyone finishing anybody in this fight. If there is going to be a finish, it'll most likely be Diego Lopes actually stopping Volkanovski. But
Yeah,
I think it's going to go over the decision, and Volkanovski wins by decision. Then
I'm
Michael
gonna
Chandler,
bet on both guys.
both guys to win.
I'm gonna bet
And
on
then
both guys.
to complete my parlay, I got Michael Chandler winning by KO, and that gives me odds of 10.50. Stake of 50 rand gives me a payout of 534 rand. And I think that's a very likely outcome there. So,
Easy.
yeah, very likely. Very, very likely. Okay, Jedi, before you go, brother man, can you give us some final thoughts on this fight card? Maybe a pre-fight rating, and yeah,
Yo,
just to
nah,
close
the
it off.
fight card is a banger, bro. The fight card's a banger. It's exciting fights from the start to the end. Well-known, household name guys, very
Mm,
experienced guys. If you want to see the best high-level kind of fighting MMA, this card is really showcasing that. Especially with the
absolutely.
main event being two guys that's probably the two best featherweights on the planet right
Right
now.
now, right now, yeah,
Mm.
I completely agree. Okay, thanks a lot, Jedi. I don't know if you want to stay
Cool.
around for the news or you're gonna
Now I have
bounce
to go
now.
to the shop.
Okay,
Cheers,
much love,
guys.
man.
Cheers, you. Cheers,
Cheers,
bro. Take
Jedi.
it easy.
So, where you too. All right, that was Brother Jedi just gracing us with his presence and some interesting picks that he's given us as well for that UFC 314 parlay picks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the point, like I promised in the beginning of the episode, touch base a little bit on some of the UFC news that's coming out or has come out. Nothing too off the charts that's happened so far. I do think the latest one I do want to touch base on because I do find it a little bit of intriguing is Islam Makhachev talking about potentially going up to the welterweight division based on what would happen in the outcome of the fight between Balal Muhammad and JDM. Very interesting times, eh? I do think that it's kind of stalling the two divisions if you think about it a little bit. It's and I can get Islam's argument about not wanting to fight Ilya just because it's another featherweight contender coming up to lightweight, and it's like, and he kind of wants to make his legacy where he's defending the lightweight title against actual lightweights. Not that Ilya isn't a lightweight, he is a lightweight. I mean, let's get something clear. Just because these guys are fighting in featherweight doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they are. Max Holloway for the longest time um, was just pretty much a lightweight, even welterweight guy. If you think about it, and lightweight's actually the division. I think Ilya has grown into a body type now where lightweight is the weight, and featherweight is not. So he is officially a lightweight guy. But if that's not going to be the fight, and Islam is waiting to fight or waiting to see what's going to happen in the welterweight division, that means he's probably only going to be available come October, August, maybe October, November, somewhere around there, which means you're not going to see him anytime over the course of the next 4 months, which kind of sucks ass, to be honest. You don't get to see the pound for pound fight, which is not really that fun. But if that's the case, in the meantime, what they could do to keep the lightweight available and moving, you could do Charles versus Ilia Topuria. You know what I mean? And then we could have, we can rebook the Dan Hooker Gaethje fight. Arman Sarukian maybe against Gaethje, and then we could do Dan Hooker against Max Holloway. You know, Dustin Poirier doesn't have a fight, and I don't think there's anyone outside of the top 5 that Dustin should fight, to be honest with you. Dustin's retirement fight, if they don't book the before mentioned fights I just mentioned now, then maybe give Dustin versus Poirier as a retirement fight, let him fight for a third time. That would be amazing. You know, if not that, we could go Dustin Poirier against Dan Hooker. You could go Dustin Poirier against Gaethje again, but I know they don't want to fight each other anymore. So I would say you've got Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria, or you can go Arman Sarukian versus Ilia Topuria, and then you could do Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier, or Charles Oliveira versus Max, and then Gaethje versus whoever else is there. But I think there's lots of matchups to make in that division. To be honest with you, I'm not against Islam Makhachev going up to welterweight. I really actually would like to see that. Not only if Bilal Muhammad isn't the champion, even if he is the champion, it would be nice to see Islam actually go up to that division and take down another division. But I get the asterisks going against his name because he hasn't defended against a lot of lightweight contenders. I mean, he's fought Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira, and that's who he defended to. Manny Moicano, but that was a short notice fight. So I would love to see Islam defend maybe against another lightweight contender, preferably Arman Sarukian. That would be a fucking 6-fight to go. And that's also the worthy contender for me. And then if he beats Arman Sarukian, then go fight welterweight. Even if it is Bilal Muhammad, you shouldn't let friendship stand in the way of your goals and destiny. I'm not saying you must backstab each other, but if the next person you have to fight to acquire that doubleweight status is Bilal Muhammad, then fucking fight Bilal Muhammad. You know what I mean? It's not like you guys are going to lose friendship or brotherhood over that fight. It might even bond them a little bit more. Pardon me. But I do think that JDM is going to beat Bilal Muhammad, and that's going to most likely be the case. And then we're going to see Islam Makhachev go up and take on JDM and then probably relinquishing that title or trying to defend it too. But either or, it's going to make for exciting times for both lightweight and welterweight over the course of the next few months. The only unfortunate thing about this is that we may not see Islam Makhachev fight until early October, early November, maybe even late August. Excuse me, maybe even late September. But yeah, as always, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I don't have any other MMA stories right now. I know the UFC media day was just last night, and there were some mad things that's come out of it, particularly with the Bryce Mitchell situation. The media didn't take very long to attack Bryce Mitchell and talk to some of the things that he's been mentioning in the media. I like that he stood his ground and didn't really get bombarded or bamboozled by the media team. He actually just stood his ground and said what he needed to say, and that was wonderful. And if you want to go and check that out, he's on the YouTube. It's on the UFC page. You can go check out their media day highlights. It's all over there for you. But if you haven't catched our preview and breakdown of the UFC 314 card, I'll drop the link to that in our description box of this video as well. And then, yeah, like I said, always just drop a like, share, let everyone know that we're popping off yet fighting with friends. And most importantly, please, please, please give us your comments. Let us know your thoughts about your matches, your thoughts on these fight picks that's been happening, and who you're picking to bet on for this weekend. And as always, just gamble responsibly. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay blessed. Keep a lookout for our content coming through this week. We will also be doing a live for the UFC 314 this Sunday at say 1:30, 2 a.m. We're gonna kind of catch the prelims. We're gonna skip the early prelims, but catch the prelims all the way down to the main card. Stay tuned for that. And then also we are going to be releasing a preview for One Friday Fights 104 a little bit later today. Right. Stay blessed, stay humble, stay safe. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.